Good morning, this is Mark at the Wicked Edge Expert Corner group. We're on Facebook and YouTube. And this is a new question. The gentleman just bought a Gen 4 Pro and he's trying to clamp and sharpen a double-sided Microtech knife, which is a challenge for any guided sharpening system on any day. For that knife, in the Wicked Edge sharpening ensemble of all the different adapters that I use, the one that I suggest for everybody for that one time or the few times, you need to have an offset clamp. And an offset clamp clamps the knife from the handle. It clamps the knife from the handle with the blade out this way. And then you can take it and clamp it in your Gen 4 Pro vise. Offset, which is why I make my handles so that they can rotate, because of it gets it out of the way on offset clamps. So the knife would clamp from the handle with the blade out over the vise. That will give you some height for that knife above here. So you should be able to clamp and sharpen that knife from here. You may pull it back some because you may need to get the tip closer to the vise. So for this particular knife, I would suggest the Tormek small knife holder. I think it's the SVM, Sam Victor Mike, small knife holder, maybe number 1 or something like that. It's like 20 something, $30, something like that from Amazon. From Wicked Edge. Wicked Edge offers it just because this is the place to talk about clamping adapters, clamping aids. This is the stabilizer from Wicked Edge, and what this does is it fits right on the dual cam vise, pushes out those pins, flops over there, and then you can clamp your knife here and support it back here. It would be for a longer, more flexible knife, but this is a clamping adapter offered from Wicked Edge called the stabilizer. And it does come with hardware to adjust the lengths of the screws and that such. And I have used 2, one on either side. It simply holds the knife in the groove. It doesn't actually clamp it, but it does work. It does stabilize the knife. And these are from Wicked Edge. The original clamping adapter that Wicked Edge offered way back then was called the low angle adapter. Again, this would not be for that double-sided knife, but for knives that when they are clamped here in the original setup, out of the box setup, when the knife is clamped here, it has that height geometry of the Gen 4 Pro. By adding this, it changes the geometry so that it clamps it higher, so that you have to go wider in order to get that angle setting. It changes the geometry of the Wicked Edge to make it so you can sharpen those lower angles by expanding the geometry. This is a standard vise, meaning it has one fixed side that's clamped in the dual cam and the other side moves, and you tighten it from the side. So it clamps your knife slightly offset, and then you put it in here centered. And it holds your knife up here for those knives with a very thin edge that you have to get out wide in order to sharpen that narrow angle. The original low angle adapter, that I have a piece of blue painter's tape holding that key on there. The new one, because this standard vise, the original low angle adapter, had some shortcomings. As Wicked Edge looked to improve it, they did re-engineer it so it became split. So now it's tapered so that one side can clamp separately than the other side, because there's two separate screws. So this holds those distally tapered knives, because this one can be set wider than this one to clamp those distally tapered knives. And then this is a standard vise, one set side, one moving side, and it does clamp in the dual cam vise on the Gen 4 Pro, or any vise on any Wicked Edge. This can be used on any Wicked Edge. And again, what that does is it clamps your knife up here to improve the geometry for this knife. It changes the geometry so the triangle becomes bigger. Then, hence the need for the long guide rod. But the triangle becomes bigger so you can sharpen knives offset up here in a low angle adapter. The shortcoming of the low angle adapter is it is a standard vise and it's tedious to use. Now, because of all of that, at the Wicked Edge Expert Corner, I decided, because I sharpen mostly chef knives and mostly low angle knives, and low angle knives are the ones that your stones hit the side of the vise before you can touch the bevel, if you can even clamp them. First, we took care of you, we told you how to, suggested a way you may be able to clamp, but then the low angle with the stones hitting the vise, that low angle is a separate issue. Clamping is one issue and low angle is another issue, and they both take clamping aids. So the clamping aid that I built into the system is to add the risers underneath, and that elevates the jawline to change the geometry. So all of your sharpening needs are shifted to a taller geometry and low angle. So that allows you to achieve low angle before your stones hit the vise, because you've added height underneath. Now, because that height is underneath, then we added the stabilizing portion of the stable riser clamping system, and that fits into receivers in the riser block on the back to hold the handle, on the front the same way. This all comes in a ready to assemble kit, and what this does is it lets you clamp the knife high up, support it, long knives, low angle, support it at the tip and support it at the handle to take care of this, and the central takes care of the flexibility this way. So this is the solution I came up with at the Expert Corner group for those hard to clamp knives. Now, within the whole realm, as long as we're talking, I'm going to talk real quick about clamping aids that I think fit right in there. And one of them is the paper shims that Wicked Edge is sending, and these are easily made out of cereal boxes or postcards or anything like that. And that little bit of hard stock wrapped around the spine of the knife, when you clamp it, it gives it some give that helps it to hold it better, tighter, if you're having troubles. Another thing you can use is, I like to use leather chamois, real leather chamois you get at an auto parts store for drying your car, and I cut it up and wrap that on the spine of the knife, wrap it up around, and clamp the knife with that in here, and it's spongy, it compresses. So that's another clamping aid. And the last one I want to talk about, Old Faithful Blue Painter's Tape. This is a clamping aid besides a way of protecting the steel from getting scratched either in your clamping or getting scratched by dirty stones, or even your hands rubbing, your fingers get the abrasives on them. And if you're working for a mirror edge, you can blemish a mirror polish just by having the abrasives on your fingers. So painter's tape, I call it a clamping aid. You can put it all across your knife except for the knife edge. It provides some thickness and some cushion, and that sometimes aids in clamping. So I hope that gave you an idea, and I hope that I put it all, the different clamping aids in the same video to be helpful in a general sense. Thanks.